in terms of the latest update, so many tourists that might be stuck there, people who might want the right kind of information. Mr. Plawat, would you help all the viewers out there? And to everybody that's joining our live stream, get down in the comment section if there's any kind of question that you'd like for Harjeet Singh or Mr. Plawat here to answer. Please let us know in the comment section. Mr. Plawat, the latest updates, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
Yes, as of now, the axis of monsoon trough has shifted to the foothills of Himalayas, and this is break monsoon type conditions over for central India and northwest India, particularly Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. All these areas are receiving very less rain, and torrential rain is over foothills of Himalayas, right from Jammu Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand, and up to foothills of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal. So these rain activities may continue for another 24 to 48 hours until August 16. Then there will be some break because the axis of monsoon trough will shift towards Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh, leading to decrease in rain activities. Then again, from August 20 onward, the axis of monsoon trough will again shift to the foothills of Himalaya. There will be heavy torrential rain between August 20 to August 23rd and 24th. So we can say these rain activities will continue until last week of August, and the incident of cloud burst can occur again because due to rise in global temperature, the air temperature is rising, the capacity of air to hold moisture is also increasing. When the capacity increases to hold the moisture, it leads to the formation of vertically developed cloud, which is known as cumulonimbus cloud. So they are capable of giving heavy downpour in a short span of time. So these weather events may continue until next 24 hours. Thereafter, again from August 20 onward.
Right, and Mr. Plawat, Varghese and I essentially talk about this every other day. How a youngster came up to us the other day, and we began talking about the torrential rain and the damage it was, the spate of damage, the entirety of trucks going for a swim. We're showcasing visuals of trees being uprooted, life completely being thrown out of gear. The youngster has the audacity, and it's quite appalling, that this little kid says that this is nothing but Mother Nature fixing herself. Do you think that's the case? That is the prime case? And if encroachment, atikraman ki agar baat hai, how much of it is the reason? I mean, what kind of weightage do you give to encroachment here?
Yes, because we have seen that the water bodies, the natural the flow of water bodies is interrupted by the development, unplanned development, and we have encroached the path of water bodies. So whenever there is heavy rainfall, they will naturally take their natural route, and unplanned development over hilly regions. So they are cutting the trees, and the capacity to hold the soil. When there are plenty of trees, they have the capacity to hold the soil together. When we cut the trees and for unplanned development, so this type of natural phenomena will continue, and this is the reason that we are to blame, not the nature, because nature is changing due to our behavior, because we are increasing the greenhouse gases and we are making the climate change.
Well, let me also bring in Harjeet as well, because I wanted to understand the fact. We were looking at a lot of vulnerable areas. We have seen how rains have been working, or we've seen how it's been disastrous for mountain regions recently. Landslides and heavy rains. You don't expect that kind of rain in these areas as well. Is it just in India that you're having? Because Uttarakhand has become synonymous with that kind of landslide and rains. Himachal is now becoming synonymous with it. Because these are, heavy, if you look at the climatic record in those places, it used to happen once in 40 years, 50 years, but it's happening quite frequently. Again, is it climate change that is driving this situation in mountain areas as well?
Well, it's not just India. All mountainous regions are highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change and the erratic weather that we have seen, whether it's neighboring country of Pakistan, or we have seen around the world. In fact, again, I would point towards the report from Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change early this year had a specific mention of mountainous regions being vulnerable. Because of their topography and also fragile ecology. And this is where I would like to connect it to what Mahesh ji just said. It's bad planning and the way we are causing destruction in the name of development is making these mountainous regions far more vulnerable. And when we talk about Himalayas, and geologically speaking, they are very young mountains, and that's why they are not as strong as Alps, for example. So, which means that any the structural damage that we cause
We're
is
putting
going
way too
to
much burden on these young mountains, right?
exactly, and by having that kind of infrastructural development, completely ignoring the fragility of these mountainous regions, and we are simply copying the development model. Whether we talk about what's happening in Hawaii right now or in other parts of the world, and what we are doing, it's a combination of factors. Climate change is just making it worse.
देखिए बारिश को तो रोका नहीं जा सकता, बारिश तो होगी ही, but commercialization, how we're obstructing the path of the water, that is something that can be focused upon. Now, according to what Mr. Plawat said, this is going to carry on till the end of August. We saw what the kind of damage, the rains, the kind of havoc they wreaked just a couple of months back in Uttarakhand and Himachal both. And now yet again, and now Mr. Plawat is telling us that this might just continue till the end of August. What are some quick precautionary steps that can be taken? I mean, we're getting visuals of the Chief Minister, frantically taking calls, visiting places where the wall has collapsed, visiting an area where, a school building might have collapsed. He's, there's no denying that the administration is on the ground. But what are some steps, Mr. Plawat, Harjeet Singh ji, I mean, any one of you would like to come in, some quick steps that they can in fact take up?
See, we can say that the government should disallow or you can say restrict the movement of vehicles and the people to vulnerable areas, because we know that yes, it is going to happen again, because rainfall will be intense in next few days also. So that they should issue the advisory for tourists and the people who are traveling towards hilly destinations, that to avoid crowding all these places, and educate the people who are living there to move to safer places, because they know which areas are more vulnerable due to this type of cloud burst and the water flow, and landslide upon areas also known by the authorities, so they can take the precautionary measures.
In terms of the problems on the ground, our colleague Mohit, he also spoke to some locals, some residents in the area. Let's listen in to what people actually have to say in terms of their ordeals, their perils, their kind of problems on the ground right now.
हिमाचल प्रदेश में लगातार तेज बारिश हो रही है, नदी नाले उफान पर हैं। मैं इस वक्त मंडी के नेरचौक इलाके में मौजूद हूँ। यहाँ पर आप देखिए, ये कहने को तो चंडीगढ़ मनाली नेशनल हाईवे है, लेकिन इसके साथ आप देखिए जो कनेक्टिंग जो गांव है वहाँ पर क्या स्थिति है। पहाड़ों से लगातार बारिश की वजह से पानी आ रहा है। लोग अपनी जान जोखिम में रखकर जो अपनी दिनचर्या है वो चलाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। आप देखिए यहाँ पर एक व्यक्ति हैं जो कि दूध का जो बर्तन है वो लेकर जा रहे हैं। इस पानी से होकर गुजरना पड़ रहा है। कहने को तो ये सड़क होती है, बिल्कुल हाईवे से कनेक्टेड है, लेकिन यहाँ पर आप देखिए काफ़ी लोग फंसे हुए हैं, उनकी गाड़ियाँ फंस गई हैं। आप देखिए लोग जो हैं उनके पास आने का एकमात्र रास्ता ये है कि इसी तरह से इस पानी में से घुटने घुटने पानी है, काफ़ी तेज़ बहाव के साथ ये चल रहा है। सुकेती खड्ड इसको कहते हैं। ये आमतौर पे बरसाती जो नाला है बरसात के दिनों में उफान पर आ जाता है और इसके बाद आप देखिए स्थिति यहाँ पर बनी हुई है। स्थानीय नागरिक भी हमारे साथ हैं। क्या स्थिति है जी आप लोगों के घरों पे? पहाड़ पे पानी रुकता तो नहीं है लेकिन तेज़ बहाव के साथ आ रहा है, तो क्या नुकसान हो रहा है?
हमारे तो नुकसान मतलब पानी पानी हो गया। हमारे चारों तरफ जो व्यू परसेंट जो सारे पानी आ रहा है हमारे को, बहुत बुरा। अंदर निकल गया पानी हमारे घर में।
तो गाँव से नीचे सड़क तक आने का कोई रास्ता नहीं है?
रास्ता हमारे साइड में निकले, जो हमारा मेन रास्ता जहाँ सड़क है वो तो ऐसे फुल हो गई है। जो हमारा मेन रास्ता है ना
फुल। ऐसे हालात कभी आपने देखे हैं पहले?
नहीं, पहले इतना नहीं हुआ, होता था लेकिन मतलब इस साल ज़्यादा है, इस साल बहुत ज़्यादा।
तो अभी क्या स्थिति, आपके घर बचे हुए हैं, पानी तेज बहाव से आ रहा है?
ऊपर है नेशनल रोड पे, तो अभी ठीक है। उधर
ऊंचाई पे आपके?
ऊंचाई पे है, पानी तो है ना काफी, पर नीचे ज्यादा है।
तो अभी बच्चे स्कूल जा पा रहे हैं? क्या स्थिति है, या घर में फंसे सब?
बच्चे तो अभी स्कूल जा रहे हैं, छुट्टियां है 2 दिन की, तो उसके बाद देखेंगे क्या बोलता है मौसम विभाग और सरकार क्या बोलती है।
तो जितनी कनेक्टिंग सड़कें उनका ये हाल है?
हाँ जी, सारी सड़कें बंद हो गई। हमारे तो लोकल सड़कें सारी बंद हो गई।
तो जो लोकल सड़कें हैं वो सब बंद हो चुकी हैं। आप देखिए जो कनेक्टिंग जो गांव हैं, जो बिल्कुल चंडीगढ़ मनाली नेशनल हाईवे को मंडी के साथ के जो छोटे कस्बे हैं, छोटे शहर हैं, उनसे जोड़ते हैं, वहाँ पर आप देखिए ऐसे ही लोग फंसे हुए हैं और मशक्क़त करके पानी में से निकल के लोगों को आना पड़ रहा है। अभी आप पानी से निकल कर आए हैं, क्या कितना मुश्किल भरे हालात हैं यहाँ?
बड़ा मुश्किल हो रहा है जी, क्या करें अब, बहुत ज़्यादा पानी है, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, बड़ी मुश्किल से आना जाना कर रहे हैं।
तो अभी क्या दूध लेने जा रहे हैं आप?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, गाय ये नीचे बांधी लोगों के इन्हें,
गायों को देखने जा रहे हैं?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, गाय
तो
के
ये
पास।
स्थिति आप देखिए, कहने को हम इस वक्त जो चंडीगढ़ मनाली नेशनल हाईवे है वहाँ पर मंडी के पास मौजूद हैं, लेकिन इसके आसपास जितने भी छोटे गांव हैं, कस्बे हैं, जो सब कनेक्ट करते हैं मंडी को एक दूसरे शहरों के साथ, कस्बों के साथ, वहाँ पर स्थिति ये बनी हुई है कि लोगों के लिए अपनी दिनचर्या चलाना काफ़ी मुश्किल हो रहा है और काफ़ी मुश्किल भरे हालात बने हुए हैं।
Varghese, so I mean, people having to wade through knee-deep water, problems जो लोगों की सामने आई, समझ में आई.
And this is on that highway, you know, you're
Yeah.
going towards the mountainous region.
Is it a
and
national highway or a
the flow
waterway?
of
That's
water-
a different question altogether. But what do you make out of the comments that you heard from the people out there?
Well, what I understand is that they have been actually fed up because this is similarly when there was a kind of the 1.5 months ago when you had.
Well,
a kind
all right,
of
I'm going to
rains.
have to cut you short. We've got the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh giving us a reaction.
सफल होते हैं तो हमारी ये तो अच्छा लगेगा। और दूसरा, नाबा में अभी हमने 5 लोगों का रेस्क्यू किया है, 5-10 लोग और फंसे हुए हैं। ममलिक में 7 लोगों के देहांत की खबर हमें आई है।
जी, आप खुद मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं पूरे राज्य में क्या स्थिति है? ओवरऑल जैसा आपने कहा 24 घंटे के दौरान 21 मौतें कंफर्म हो पाई।
ये गांधी ये बात, एक पेड़ को देखता रहे, ये पेड़ को एक आदमी, एक पुलिस वाला पेड़ को देखता रहे, ऊपर से देखना है, ये जो पेड़ आते हो भांगे। हाँ हाँ जी,
जी सर, पूरे राज्य में आप स्थिति को मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं, जैसा आपने कहा 24 घंटे के दौरान 21 लोगों की मृत्यु है। रेस्क्यू एंड रेस्टोरेशन कितना चैलेंजिंग है आज के लिए?
देखिए, इस समय तो हमारे को जीवन बचाना बहुत चैलेंज है। मैंने सभी से अनुरोध किया कि अगले 2 दिन तक हमारे लैंडस्लाइड से रास्ते खुलेंगे, और सभी से मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं हिमाचल की जनता से कि वो घरों में रहें, नदी नालों के पास ना जाएं, जहां लैंडस्लाइड वाला एरिया वहां ना जाएं, और जहां लैंडस्लाइड की संभावना है उस दृष्टिकोण से वो दूर रहें। इस दृष्टि से मैं कह सकता हूं कि आने वाले समय में हम जो स्थिति है उस पर काबू पा सकेंगे, और भगवान से ये प्रार्थना करते हैं कि इस भारी बारिश रुके तो हम रिस्टोरेशन का कार्य कर सकें।
Well, so that was the Chief Minister. My apologies for cutting you short over there, Varghese. I just want to quickly, take this question to Harjeet Singh. Harjeet Singh, you heard the Chief Minister over there. Of course, he looks really irritated, that people want to, the media wants him to give a reaction to the camera when he's already on the ground. There's a wall that's collapsing. He's asking the police wala to take a look at, keep a check on the tree also that might just collapse right on his head. So there's so much that's happening on the ground. But, the tic-tac that we played out with the people on the ground, उनकी बातों से आपको क्या समझ में आया सर?
देखिए, this is a very difficult time, and when people are suffering, administration is trying to put their best efforts. Again, it's the scale which makes it really challenging. And at this moment, as the Chief Minister said, for people to stay at home, but for administration to really restore facilities, and especially those basic utilities of water, electricity, clearing road, and really start thinking about how to help people who have incurred such massive losses. But one thing that I must definitely point out here is how people are now affected psychologically. We are not talking about it at this moment. People who are losing their homes, their farms, and their income for a very long time, they will also need psychosocial support. So it's not just about restoring infrastructure and those utilities which are absolutely essential, but we have to go beyond. And this is something that we are also learning with the increasing scale of climate disasters, that when people get affected, their psychological health also needs to be taken care of. And of course, long-term mitigation efforts need to be made, and we need to be doing a lot more than we are. And and we can't just keep responding to these disasters. We have to talk about land use planning. We have to talk, those long-term effects. Of course, this is not the time to talk about it because the focus is on recovery.
You're right.
But we have to discuss those big questions as well, because look at every now and then we are looking at these disasters in one region or the other.